A bit about yourself.
I'm 20 years old. I'm a student at Central Michigan University. I have a major in therapeutic recreation and a minor in dance and human development. And that's one of my passions. I love to dance. And I've been dancing for 20 years. No, 18 years.
Almost 20 years.
Yes.
How did you choose CMU?
I chose CMU because, well, I did a lot of tours on different campuses, and when I came here it really felt like home. I felt like it was a small enough campus that it was intimate, but it was big enough that I could explore a variety of majors. So I really chose it because of the atmosphere, I think, mostly.
And how did you come across therapeutic rec?
I actually was a broadcasting major when I first came here, and I could tell immediately that it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, so I looked through the bulletin and explored majors, and I was hoping I could find something that I could incorporate dance or movement with, and I came across therapeutic recreation. I went and talked to the advisor, and she told me a little bit more about it, and I fell in love with it. So
Understandable. I did a big leap from education over to business college.
Yeah.
So, what would be your dream job?
I would love to work in a pediatric rehab hospital, something like Mary Free Bed in Grand Rapids. I've researched that a little bit, but a pediatric rehab where I can work with kids is what I would love to do, and movement therapy, some sort of therapy with kids with physical needs.
Okay. A traditional interview question might be, can you give me 2 of your strengths and 2 of your weaknesses?
Yes. I think that 2 of my strengths are that I am energetic. I am always ready to take on a new project, and I'm punctual. I'm always on time. And a weakness might be sometimes I tend to want to take on too many things, and so I can easily get overloaded when I should just focus my energy on one thing. I can easily take on too many things. And possibly, I think another weakness is that I'm not too familiar with the business world. I've done a lot of things in the community, volunteer experience, but I haven't really been in the business world all too often.
Okay. Can you tell me about a project that you've completed here at Central that may benefit you in the future?
Yes, a project that I completed at Central that may benefit me in the future. Can it be coursework, possibly? Okay, I think that I have a class that we have to do a portfolio for, and I put a lot of work into it. It basically is a culmination of all your volunteer experience and your programs that you put together for your classes, and you put it all together and make a professional portfolio. I'm still in the process of working on it, but I know that when I go to an interview, if they need to see experience that I've done, I can just lay that out in front of them. It's something I'm going to be proud of.
What's the biggest thing you're proud of in your portfolio?
In my portfolio, probably two things I would say. I have pretty extensive volunteer experience within my field.
Okay.
I feel like I've done quite a bit and it's over multiple areas such as gerontology and also working with children and physical needs, cognitive impairment. So I'm really proud of the various volunteer opportunities that I've had to learn about different diagnoses. And also, I would say we had to do a 6-week program where we start from the beginning, we do funding, and all the way through the very end of a program. It's kind of a mock program, but I could show someone that and say, this is what I could do for your company. I could put this program on.
Okay. Who would you have to say is your favorite professor here at CMU?
I think Mary Lou Schilling. She's my advisor, and there's only a couple professors in my program, but she's one of those people that you can go to. For me anyway, I feel like I can just stop in her office and say, hey, I have a question, I hope you know the answer to it, and she can sit down with you. She'll take time out of her day to sit down and answer your questions. She's really down to earth. She doesn't feel like a professor who's been out of the field, and she's really current and knows what's going on.
Okay, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but a professor that you may not like, what didn't you like about them?
I think that a professor that I didn't like, I can think of one, that he or she wasn't accessible to students, it felt like to me, and every time I went to ask them a question regarding advice on an assignment or even just advice within the field, they may have acted like it was a juvenile question. So I just kind of felt like they were being condescending almost, but
Are you required to have an internship?
yes, 2 internships actually.
What's your idea?
Oh, okay. Sorry, no. I think that I want to do, we have to have 2 15-credit internships, so 15 weeks basically. And I want to do 1 in a pediatric rehab unit would be awesome. Maybe 2 in a pediatric rehab unit if possible, but I would like to do 1 in more of a medical field in a hospital, and then 1 hopefully in a community setting where it'd be more of a parks and recreation program, so I could get the full spectrum of what my job entails.
Okay. Dealing with people is gonna obviously be very important.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most difficult thing about dealing with people?
I think the hardest thing for me is unexpected questions, things that I try to be as prepared as I can before I meet with someone or when I'm walking into a room that I'm facilitating for, but then sometimes if someone throws something at me that I don't know, it's hard to think. Sometimes it's hard for me to think on my toes and quickly redirect, but I'm working on it, so.
That's very honest answer. I mean, we're all afraid of questions. In an interview, what question would you be afraid of?
I think my question that I would be afraid of, I've been thinking about it for a while, is what is your biggest failure and what have you learned from it? That kind of question.
Okay.
And I was thinking about it, and I think it has to do with academics. I got a D in 1 class, and it was totally my own fault because I knew the class wasn't for my major and I didn't want to go, and I didn't go and I got a D, and then I had to go again because I had to retake it, so I had to be doubly punished by taking it twice. So that was definitely one of my biggest failures.
Tell me how you would define success of an individual and how it pertains to success of an organization.
I think like within my career
Within
or
life.
just life. Okay. I think success of an individual would be someone reaching their own personal goals and living up to their full potential, what they see as their ideal. That would be a success in an individual. And then how that would relate to an organization is if everyone is working to their full potential and setting goals for themselves and reaching there, you're sure to have, I think, a successful organization that you have employees that are reaching their goals and striving to work hard all the time. I think that would be success to me.
Assuming college will be done, what are your future goals? Like, give me a couple that are like recent, like you're really close, and then a couple that are pretty far.
Far off in the future. Well, when I graduate, I would like to get a job. That would be nice to be employed. I would ideally like to be in a hospital setting, but I also understand that a job is a job these days. I'd like to be working within my field. That is a definite major goal, is to have a job within my field. And I think kind of a further off goal, it might not be too far away, is that I'm thinking of grad school for occupational therapy potentially. I'm still kind of researching possibilities for that, but I would love to have a job that would pay for my grad school. So that would be the goal, is to find a job that offers further advancement as far as education goes.
Okay. How do you, going back to the success thing, because I kind of skipped one of my questions, how do you determine or evaluate success in your own personal life? And give me an example of a successful accomplishment.
I think I determine success whether I am happy with my final product, whether it is an actual assignment that I'm happy with, whether the grade is what I'd be happy with is different, but whether I'm happy with the work that I put into it, or doesn't necessarily have to be a concrete object, just whether I feel content when I'm done with what I'm doing, that I did the best job that I can. And did you want an example?
Yeah.
Of success. I think that I teach dance, and one of my students she was unwilling to dance and did not want to even join the class, would sit and cry the whole time. And it came time for recital, and she still didn't want to dance, but I got her to go out on stage and stand there and not cry. And that was success for me, because I felt like that was what I could do for her, is help her be less afraid of that experience. Whether she danced or not was a totally different battle, but I think that as far as that goes, that was a success story for me, getting her out there.
That is very hard to get a child to do something like that.
Exactly.
Especially if they're very stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
In your field, do you find it more useful to have a macro or a micro manager? Do you know what those are?
Kind of.
Okay.
I think it depends on what, tell me if I'm answering this question incorrectly. It depends on what position you have. I think a macro manager is like the larger picture, correct? And
They give you what to do,
mm-hmm.
and they let you do it yourself, whereas
mm-hmm.
opposed to micro, they're going to be on top of you. Do it this way at this time,
okay.
this way.
Yes, that's kind of what okay. I think a macro manager would definitely be more helpful in this profession, because oftentimes I would be, or a therapist would be putting together their own program, and someone that is managing them would say you need to put on a program that has to do with travel, and then they would hand it over to the rec therapist, and then they could use their freedom. I mean, that's what we're trained to do, is take one idea and expand it into lots of separate activities.
Okay, in the business field, we have what's called the elevator speech.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's 20 seconds to sell yourself to a business person. I'm going to give you an opportunity to give me your elevator speech right now. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Do I have to introduce ourselves first? No.
We're already past that.
Okay. I didn't know. Okay. I think I would be a good fit for your position, because I'm energetic and persistent, and I have a lot of experience in the field. I have created and implemented many programs throughout my college career, and I've worked with clients from ages 3 through 80. So I've had a lot of experience throughout the continuum, and I've also worked with individuals that have both physical disabilities, cognitive impairments, emotional impairments. I've worked with a large spectrum of people, so I think I'd be able to help in your facility.
Very good. It's difficult if you're not really ever faced with that.
Yeah.
And I understand a lot of recreation people aren't.
Mm-hmm.
My boyfriend is an outdoor rec,
Mm-hmm.
so I understand with that group of people. They're not necessarily faced with these traditional business questions. Usually at the end of an interview, we give you an opportunity to ask us questions. Here, it doesn't really apply,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to give you an opportunity to give me sample questions you may ask a future employer.
Okay. I might ask. I have a question for you. In a normal interview, do you think it's typical for them to give you like what hours you'd be working right off the bat, or would that be a question that you would ask?
You could ask a question like, what's a typical work day like?
Okay,
that would be like, we work 9 to 5. For the first half of the day, you're doing this. For the second half, you're doing this.
Okay, that would definitely be a question. What's a typical work day like? Is it inappropriate to ask what the salary is?
Yes.
It is inappropriate to ask that. I never know. And I would ask, what if they had to tell me what their work environment they thought it was like, what would it be? I'm not sure. Other questions? It's kind of a tough one.
Okay, and then talking to my boyfriend, he always wants me to ask recreation majors.
Okay.
One question, And it's really kind of funny, paper or plastic.
Paper. I'm a paper person. Well, sometimes I get combination because I have a dog, so I have to clean up its waste products. But so I usually ask for a combination so I can have some extra plastic bags at home to pick up poop. But
Okay.